Hello everybody, big preview time. Arsenal and Manchester City go head-to-head in the FA Cup semi-final. It's coming up in the early hours of Sunday morning here in Australia, 4:45 a.m. kickoff. Let's talk about this game. It's a big game for both teams and something that I'm looking forward to very much. It's an FA Cup semi-final without the usual bells and whistles. It's not going to be the same as what it usually is and the regular type of game to expect, but there might be something that actually works in our favour. Now, I know it's not been the same, and a lot of people have been a little bit upset over the last couple of weeks, me included. There's not had the same jazz about getting up first thing in the morning for us as we've had plenty of early starts in the last few weeks, but it's a big game nonetheless. Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world at the moment, let alone the English Premier League. I think they are a huge test for us, and it's a game where everything is going to need to go right for us in this semi-final. We talked about the other day that win against Liverpool. Of course, that was magnificent in its own right. The fact that we got up in a game that we were dominated in when it came to all the statistics, all the shots, the run of play in general. It wasn't just a case of us just having a bit of luck and things going for us completely on the day. It wasn't like a 50-50 in that sense, or a bit of a pendulum swing. It was completely Liverpool that dominated us. But we've got to take a lot of confidence and resilience out of that. So we take that into a big game against Manchester City. So I'm looking forward to the game. I wouldn't say I'm overly confident. I'm just being realistic, not buzzing out of the skin with confidence ahead of this game. I think Manchester City have been a little bit lacklustre the last few games, as we've seen. They haven't been winning by huge margins. There was a 5-0 win a couple of games back. I believe it was against Aston Villa. But outside of that, they've had a couple of narrow wins and a performance the last time out that Pep came out and was a little bit critical of his players as well. And the media was quite critical of Manchester City as well for not being at their very fluent best. But that's a bit harsh on a team which are superb on their day. In my opinion, at their very best on their day, they're better than Liverpool. If they put it together, they can smash anyone off the park on their day. Now, the Premier League has become a little bit of a meander for them, noting that there's not much to play for. They can't go up, they can't go down. Champions League is a big one for them, which will begin again in around about, well, I'm not sure yet, to be honest. They've got the second leg versus Real Madrid first, and then the mini tournament in Portugal begins in the month of August. So it's a game where I think that there's three big factors in this game. The first one is how we start the game. We need to start really strongly in this game. We need to make sure that our defence is solid the first 20 to 25 minutes. We are really solid, no mistakes. We're going to need to be behind the ball and defending really well. I think guys like Raheem Sterling will need to be man-marked, Gabriel Jesus, depending what runs he's making. And even whoever plays in their number 10, if David Silva starts and takes a number 10 type of role, or if that's more of a Bernardo Silva type of role, they're the guys we need to watch. Mahrez, whatever flank he plays on, is always a big danger too. So never mind starting strongly in the sense that we've got to go forward and score goals per se. It's more about starting strongly in my mind and just being defensively solid. We just need to make sure that we're really tight, well organised, and not handing City any really early goals. The last time we played them, we lost 3-0, of course, in that game up at the Etihad. But if you remember the game, we had injuries and all sorts of things that plagued us early in that game. So you'd expect that won't go wrong again. But let's rewind to the match that was in December at the Emirates, where they came out and absolutely battered us early on. We were down early. De Bruyne scored an absolute wonder goal. We didn't shut him down outside of the box, and he hit a howitzer in the top corner. But they were rampant that day, and that's the type of thing that Manchester City can do to you. They can rip you apart early. So number one for me, let's start well, be defensively organised, and be strong. Number two, what we need to do is take our chances. So the same thing that happened against Liverpool the other day. We only had 3 shots on goal. Joey Willock had that chance at the end of the game. Had he have put that away, it would have been 3-1 and would have been a nice gloss on the scorecard for us. Not deserved, but a nice gloss nonetheless. So that would have been the third goal and third chance, and 3 shots on target, 3 shots on goal the other day. But the other 2 coming from mistakes, beautifully taken by Nelson and Lacazette. So we need to take our chances and be completely in this game in terms of going forward. Now, Aubameyang will come back in. Lacazette will start. As I said in my last video, he's been superb as an out-and-out number 9 of late. Who starts up front will be a question. Will it be Saka? Will Pepe get another gig? He was quiet against Liverpool, but I think anyone would have been quiet in that circumstance. So we can't really have a big go at him for that. And then number 3, tactically, Arteta's got to get it right. Tactically, he's got to, I'm not sure what he's going to go with, whether that's a 3-4-3 again with the 2 overlapping fullbacks. He's really lent on that of late. So tactically, he's going to have to think about whether or not he's better off with an extra man in midfield and perhaps going back to a back 4. I know David Luiz has been starting a lot at the centre of a back 3, but that's where he is at his best, in the middle of a back 3 as a bit more of a sweeper. And I guess it depends who's either side of him. I expect Mustafi to come back in. Rob Holding might start on the left-hand side of David Luiz moving forward as you look up the pitch. So what does he do? Does he play that back 3 and have the more attacking players, or does he switch back to a back 4 and look to maybe tuck in the midfield? It's almost worth playing a 4-3-3 with 3 guys sitting tight, or even a 4-4-2 with the two guys on the left and right tucking back in. But do we have the personnel to do that is a question as well. Can Pepe sit back and track, and do we play with just the out-and-out front 2? A 4-5-1 wouldn't be the worst, with 2 sort of wingers that play as wing-backs, but sort of more forward wing-backs. An out-and-out striker in Lacazette perhaps, or even Aubameyang, and then looking to have 3 in the midfield. Torreira looked okay the other day. Xhaka will definitely start, I would suspect, and I think Dani Ceballos will come back in to provide a little bit of movement on the ball and some quick feet and that sort of thing. So tactically, that's what I'm most curious to see with. I feel like he probably has to tinker with this. He knows the Manchester City side inside out. You'd expect him to still know that as well. So he might have an idea what Pep has up his sleeve, or Pep might pull something out that's completely different. But the point behind that is we need to get that right. And for me, switching back to a back 4 and having an extra man in midfield will be quite important on a day like this, where they're going to come out all guns blazing with us. So that's where I reckon the game will be won and lost. Let's see how we go. I'm staying positive. Not as confident as I'd like to be, because City have it in them at the moment to just pull off a performance. And if we play like we did the other day, then you'd suggest, based on pure luck and rolling the dice, there's a chance that it could go wrong for us, and very wrong for us. So let's hope we play well, start strong the first 20 to 25 minutes, make sure that we take our chance if we can pick up a goal, get that tactics right, and maybe we can pinch a 1-0 or a 2-1, but we're going to have to be defensively on target. So come on, the boys, let's see how we go, and we'll talk about the game tomorrow in our review.